playing with confidence. Serves it inside 50.
Inside 50, good hands.
Drilling it into centre half forward. That was end-to-end football at its best.
Back-to-back goals either side of quarter time.
They have done it, the Bulldogs!
I'd fight somebody for you. There ain't no wall I would run through. In your corner when they're ringing the bell. Come hell or high water. I'd fight somebody for you.
Yes, hello WAFL fans. Welcome one and all to another big edition of Around the WAFL as normal service resumes after the state game weekend. And what a weekend of WAFL football we have got in store for you. Round 7 of the Sullivan Logistics WAFL Premiership and Round 8 of the ATCO WAFL W season, which has also been an intriguing competition. We'll preview all the big games today, and we're going to be joined by Jason Burton, the coach of the unbeaten Swan Districts in the WAFL W, heading into their grand final rematch with Claremont. My name's Paul Persic. Great to have your company, all thanks to Sullivan Logistics, Front Row Screens, Grants Car Stereo and District Promotions. And alongside me, not only one of the leading voices in WAFL coverage, but also in the Media Communications Department at WA Football. It's great to have you along, Jordan McCardle, for this week's preview show.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you having me and appreciate your support of the WAFL as always.
What about the weekend we've got in store? It's a huge weekend. We're fresh off the state game break and the double triumph for WA. It's going to be a weekend where there's a lot riding on the games, especially in the WAFL W, where the finals race is just getting a bit closer.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the grand final rematch between Swan Districts and Claremont. Obviously, Swan Districts got the job done against Claremont in round 1. There was only 1 point between them in last year's grand final. Obviously, Claremont won that one, so it's going to be a really intriguing battle, and there's a battle within the battle when you see Jamie Harkin go up against Jamie Henry as well, two of the informed players of the competition. Obviously, Jamie Harkin won the best on ground medal in a really impressive performance last week against South Australia, and Jamie Henry wasn't too far behind as well. So, looking forward to seeing those two go head to head in particular, and there's going to be some exciting battles across that game and across the weekend as well.
Before we get to some of the WAFL action that is coming up on Saturday, all 5 games on the Saturday, we'll take a bit of a refresher as to where the season is at. We'll pop up the ladder with round 7 to come in the Sullivan Logistics WAFL Premiership. At the moment, Claremont out on top with 6 wins out of 6. I reckon their brand of football has really stood out so far this season. Their intensity and their application over the last 6 games has been brilliant under Ash Prescott.
Yeah, they've been remarkable. Obviously, there was a lot of talk of how they're going to replace someone like Jai Bolton, who's obviously a 2-time Sandover winner, a 2-time Simpson Medal winner as well. So, and they've done that really, really well. Sam Alvarez has been one that's really stepped up and played more midfield minutes. He was probably more of that outside player in previous years. We've seen Zach Main-Waring go from, mainly a half forward to, half forward / midfielder. So he's obviously taken more responsibility in that engine room, and obviously they're co-captains as well. Cal England, who's coming off a Simpson Medal performance at the weekend, what a game he played, and he's been consistent all year as well. And then Bailey Rogers as well, his fellow co-captain. They've got arguably the best ruck, or probably in the best 2 or 3 at least anyway, in Ollie Eastland. It's tough choosing between Jones and Eastland, as Adam Reid found out last week. But,
their forward line, to add to that as well, I want to back up your point. They're saying they have, the best, one of the best 2 ruckmen in the competition. They've got the best forward line, haven't they? They've got tall options, and they complement that well with their, mosquito fleet, led by the likes of Van Rooyen, who kicked 3 goals a couple of weeks ago before their bye. So their forward line boasts such remarkable depth, and that's one of the big keys, isn't it, to why Claremont are on top of the ladder.
Yeah, I agree. They've got some real tall timber up there, don't they? They've got, Kieran Gowdy, Jaden Hunter, Sam Van Rooyen, just to name a few, and then their smalls. I like Talon DeLacy. It feels like he always pops up for a couple of goals. They've obviously got Main-Waring, who plays that dual role as well. So they've got an array of talent and so much depth as well, as we saw with their Resi's team last year, losing just the 1 game. It was obviously the grand final, but they've got that much depth and that much talent across the board that they're in a really, really good spot and worthy of the premiership favourites tag at the moment.
It certainly is at this stage. 6 wins out of 6. Another thing that has stood out has been the revival of Peel Thunder. They've bagged a couple of key wins, including East Perth by 6 points the week before the state game, and their key players, captain Sears, Tregenza finding form in the forward line as well. But Lockie Tardrew, what a standout he has been, coming over from Collingwood Collingwood in the VFL side. I reckon he could hold the key for Pure Thunder should they push for a top 3 finish this season.
I'm glad you mentioned Lockie Tardrew. He was outstanding in the state game at the weekend. He polled some Simpson medal votes as well. So he wasn't actually in the original 30-man squad as well, which is quite remarkable. To see him, I guess, break into that extended squad and then obviously prove his worth to make the final cut, because there was a lot of talent in that squad. So
there was.
Great to see him make his state debut and make a real impact as well. Like you said, he's played 100-plus VFL games for Collingwood, so a really, really handy recruit. He's come across. He's a school teacher by trade. He's living down that way. I think he's out Baldivis sort of way.
Correct.
So, a lot's always going to be said about the Appeals AFL-listed guys, and that's rightly so. But I think this year they've actually got a lot of younger AFL-listed players, so they probably had to rely on their WAFL-listed guys a lot more. Scott Toohey is one that just missed out on the state team. He obviously made the extended squad, but didn't make the final cut. I think he's been outstanding this year. Jack Sears is one of those guys who can play multiple positions. We've seen Ben Hancock come back after long-term injury. They've improved probably their tall stocks as well, with the likes of Toby Cossa coming through.
And their backline too, their stocks have improved gradually.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree totally. So, they've got some really exciting talent across the board, Peel, and they've probably nailed that mix at the moment with AFL-listed and WAFL-listed talent. They've obviously got the luxury of the Dockers not having a massive injury list. I think they've got maybe 6 on there at the moment, the Dockers, off the top of my head. So,
correct.
That obviously works in their favour as well. But, Adam Reid's a fantastic coach, isn't he? He's unbeaten as state coach. He won a flag in his first year as Peel coach as well. So he's a fantastic coach and fantastic fella as well, and has certainly got the Thunder up and about once again this year.
Could the folks at WA Football give him a lifetime contract as state coach with the way he's getting it done?
Oh, I think he's going well on his way for it, that's for sure. There's that much passion around Adam Reid as well, like the way he digs into the history of the state game. He got Sean Cowan involved to do some talks in the lead up. He's always got a movie theme. I think it was 300.
Correct, yeah, 300.
Yeah, so real movie buff. I just love the way he goes about it. He's probably not your typical coach. He's probably got a different personality to a lot of other coaches, but I love the way he goes about it, and you won't find many more passionate about the state game than Adam Reid. So
and professional as well. He's one of the more professional coaches in the WAFL, and that's based on the work he's done with the Fremantle Dockers, and that leads into some great form that he's had as Peel coach and state coach as well. Yeah,
absolutely. He's wouldn't mind seeing him go to that next level one day as well, and potentially, he does have that feel about a senior coach in waiting. So. A few more state games, and it might put him on the radar. A few more flags at Peel.
Also, a big week this week in WAFL. Could it be the final time that we see Kane Bevan and Zach Mainwaring and Josh Edwards in the WAFL? Because the mid-season draft's in about a week or so. Those 3 players are under the microscope for some good performances to impress AFL recruiters heading into next week's mid-season draft.
Yeah, Jasper Peace is another one.
That's right.
Well,
the Eagles have been having a look at him as well.
Yeah, that's correct. So. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. You hear a lot of whispers, and you hear, players meeting and players chatting with clubs. But I guess until Tuesday night, you never really know. Like guys like Kane Bevan, he's probably heard it time and time again. He keeps getting better, and he certainly deserves it.
Had a great state game last weekend as well.
Yeah, did he ever? 5 Simpson medal votes as well. So he ended up finishing runner-up in his state debut. So he certainly deserves an opportunity. So does Zach, so does Jasper, and Josh Edwards as well. There's that much talent in the WAFL that are ripe for the picking, as we saw with Milan Murdoch. I think Milan's story hopefully is a lesson to AFL recruiters that there is a lot of talent in the WAFL that if they do get that opportunity, they're ready to take that next step. So I know that has been a real spark and motivation for guys like Kane Bevan and Zach Mainwaring especially, that just to see someone that played in the state game last year and was training with a WAFL club this pre-season right up until close to round 1, that they can make that next step pretty quickly. So fingers crossed that the recruiters see that and pick up some WAFL talent in the mid-season draft next week.
Yeah, Tuesday night, the mid-season draft. And WAFL fans will keep you right up to date on who does get picked up out of the WAFL talent pool. A very vast talent pool it is, and we showed it how once again. Before we go to the break and preview all the big WAFL action, of course, you were on the call last week for the talent showcase between the under-18s and the under-20s. Who impressed you the most out of both sides?
Probably a couple of Swan Districts boys actually on both sides. I was really impressed with Blake Kelly for the WAFL under-20s. I think he ended up with close to 30 disposals and a heap of clearances as well, and finished with a couple of goals. So he was one that was probably a bit unlucky to miss out on the draft last year. He had a little bit of interest. He got a state combine invite, and he was just so consistent last year throughout. Yeah. Not only Colts, but the under-18s championships as well. So great to see him back from injury. He's only played a couple of games since returning from a foot injury.
He played well in the league game in round 3 against West Perth. He was among the more consistent players over there.
That might have been his brother Luke, I think.
Luke Kelly, correct. My bad.
So, he's only just come back the last couple of weeks.
Correct.
He had a pre-season injury he had a foot injury. I know he's certainly in the mix for the senior side of things, Paul. So hopefully we do see a league debut sooner rather than later. It wouldn't surprise me if it comes against Subi this weekend. But, obviously we'll have to wait and see the teams. Another Swan Districts guy that really impressed me was Leo Steve.
The Noble Steve.
Yeah. He's a fantastic young kid.
So, yeah.
He's only 174 centimetres, but he really packs a punch in the midfield there. So he's played 5 out of the 6 games already at league level for Swan Districts. And Jonesy, the state talent manager, Adam Jones at WA Footy, rates him as a potential late first round pick. So shows how highly he's rated internally at WA football, and I think he's starting to prove his worth as well across every level he plays at the moment.
He's got a bit of that Milan Murdoch characteristic about him, only 170 odd centimetres tall, but he gathers the ball so well, and he's got great leg speed too. So he reminds me a bit of that Milan Murdoch quality inside midfielder.
Yeah, absolutely. He can play multiple positions as well. We've seen him play more as that small forward at league level for Swan Districts, but he looked right at home as an inside midfielder, which is probably where we'll see him play quite a lot of footy in the national champs coming up as well. So, he continues to go from strength to strength, and look forward to seeing how his draft year pans out. Sensational
stuff from Leo Steed, no doubt about that. WAFL W fans will have a WAFL W season refresher a little later on in the show before we preview all the big WAFL W action. Round 8 of the ATCO WAFL W season. Coming up after the break, we're going to preview round 7 of the Sullivan Logistics WAFL Premiership season. Paul Persic alongside Jordan McCardle. We'll be back right after this.
Take it from me, great things happen at the WAFL.
Valentine Roads and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick to kick at every break. The WAFL is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the WAFL on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate.
On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
And you're back with us here on Around the Waffle. Paul Persic and Jordan McCardle with you, previewing all the big action for this weekend as normal service resumes in the Waffle and the Waffle W. As we get to round 7, Jordan, of the Sullivan Logistics Waffle Premiership season, 5 exciting games on Saturday. And we start one off with one of intrigue at 1:10pm on Saturday. All Waffle action live on 7+. It's East Fremantle taking on the West Coast Eagles. Both sides have looked a little bit wobbly before the state game break in recent weeks, but it's a chance for both the Sharks and the Eagles to play with a point to prove.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a tough year for East Fremantle. They showed plenty in those early rounds despite their injury list, but I looked at it last week and they had 23 players on there. A lot of those are long-termers and guys that we may not see again this year. Like
Ruben Maguire.
Yeah, Jack Avery's another one as well. So they obviously lost Lennon Marlin and Harry Marsh a couple of weeks before the state game bye. They're obviously shorter term ones.
How far away is Harrison Marsh from returning?
I think he's probably one of those shorter term ones. So, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we see him in the next few weeks. Obviously, the teams come out tonight, so we'll know a little bit more. But, yeah, they're just both integral players to the Sharks' best 23, that's for sure.
I reckon the Sharks, they're going to be in for a tough task because obviously it's a rather young side. They're in a transitional period, and the way they turned the ball over in the first half in their last game before the state game break against Swan Districts, it's not like the East Fremantle that we've seen in yesteryear. So against the West Coast Eagles side that is going to have about 15 or 16 AFL-listed players, again, they're really going to have to be on their A game, especially that engine room that haven't really gotten into top gear, and, they're going to face a tough task against the West Coast Eagles side led by Gross and Hall and also a couple of the others. Tyrrell Dewar, who's been exceptional for the Eagles this season, so they're going to have to really shut out their run and carry all throughout the afternoon.
You mentioned AFL-listed players. There's an AFL Premiership player rolling around this weekend for West Coast, Brandon Starcevic.
That's right. Managed minutes, albeit.
Yeah, absolutely. But great to see him back out there. He's obviously been dealing with some calf issues in recent weeks, and this is his West Coast debut at any level as well. So great to see that sort of star power come back through the Waffle. And another one to keep an eye out for is Cooper Duff Tytler. He did make the flight to Melbourne this morning. And looks like he'll take the field for the Waffle Eagles for his Waffle debut as well.
Would you expect him to play a full game as well, or like Brendan Starcevic be managed minutes?
No, I think it'll be pretty close to a full game. He was obviously rested last week from the AFL side, and the selection committee obviously decided to bring him back through the Waffle instead. So, I think he'll play probably that dual kind of ruck forward role. But, obviously a really talented young player. Pick 2 in the draft last year, so great to see, pick 2 in the draft and an AFL Premiership player coming through the Waffle this weekend. It certainly sort of adds to the spectacle, that's for sure.
And it is a huge boost for the Eagles side because they've been more of a competitive unit under Kyle Horsley this year. They're playing a much more confident and polished brand of football. And the games that I've seen them against the likes of Subiaco, West Perth, Swan Districts and East Perth, they've been a very competitive unit, and they're starting to be competitive when the game is in the balance, especially against West Perth and Subiaco. Their last quarters have been brilliant when last year in the third and fourth quarters, they were just about the worst side in the third and fourth quarters, and now they're one of the best, and that's all down to a more polished midfield game and the delivery to the forward line, and they're finally starting to get an even scoreboard spread, and that could be a key against an East Fremantle backline that is looking a bit second-rate.
Yeah, I totally agree in terms of West Coast being a lot more competitive this year. That's all we want to see in the Waffle, really, just a competitive competition across the board. And they've had a couple of tough years, just the one win last year, but great to see the Eagles. They had a 3-game winning streak, obviously in the early stage of the year. That comeback against Subi was brilliant. They were down 4 goals in the second half, and really came back hard. A lot of those probably top performers ended up playing in the AFL side a couple of weeks later. So great to see the Eagles fit and firing once again, and making the most of having quite a few AFL listed players out there as well.
Plenty of intrigue in this game. Who wins?
West Coast, I think. They've got
West Coast.
Much more depth, and obviously East Fremantle's injury list is starting to be a cause for concern as well.
I will agree with you there. I'm going the same route. The Eagles for me at the Good Grocer Park. Now we go to another 1:10 start on Saturday on 7+. This time it's down south, Lane Group Stadium in Mandurah. Can't wait to call this one. I'll be alongside Ben Henry for this one. Peel Thunder and South Fremantle. Both sides fresh off the state game break, and they got a lot of young guns fit and ready to fire. This is going to be a beauty at 1:10 in Mandurah.
Yeah, speak of young guns, Lucas Robinson, what a young player he is. He didn't play in the talent game at the weekend. They decided to rest him, but he's played every single game as an 18-year-old for South Fremantle. He plays mainly midfield with a bit of forward time in there as well. But got to see him a couple of weeks ago, and they were looking a bit flat at half time against Subi a couple of weeks back, and they moved Robinson into the midfield, and he gets a goal assist within the first minute of the second half. So yeah, really highly rated talent, and looking forward to seeing what he can do again this weekend. And will we see Matty Parker back from a hamstring injury as well?
That will be a big question.
The last few weeks he didn't play in the state game or anything either. So feels like he's closing in. So hopefully we see him named in the teams later tonight.
That will be a big question. If Parker does return, that's going to give the midfield a massive boost. But another player I'm really looking forward to seeing, Cooper Clark-Derring, a couple of weeks ago, kicked 5 goals in his debut. So that is going to be a big point of intrigue to see how Clark-Derring does against, pretty much an AFL standard side when you're looking at the Dockers listed players in that AFL team. Having said that, South Fremantle are going to be in for a tough one because rarely this season they have got out of second gear. They've been able to win games, but it hasn't been a complete 4-quarter game. So that's going to be the big key for South Fremantle, is play a complete 4-quarter game against the Peel Thunder side, who have really started to really click as a football side, because they looked a bit fragmented in the first few weeks. They had a 3-game losing run, but then wins against West Perth and East Perth in the last couple of weeks before the state game break, led by the likes of Sears, Tardrew in midfield, O'Driscoll, Wilson, and in particular their young ruck stocks. I reckon Peel Thunder have got the tools to take on the likes of South Fremantle after a good 2-game run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a good midfield battle. The likes of Tardrew, Tuia.
Tuia, of course.
Yeah, and depends what Fremantle listed players they get as well. So whether they probably won't get O'Driscoll back, you'd say.
Because the Dockers play on a Friday night, and that'll make things a bit easier because the Dockers the Dockers players that are with Peel Thunder that don't play can slot into that side.
Yeah, it's always a handy time slot, isn't it? So the carryover emergencies, as you say, can be emergencies on the Friday night, and if they don't get the call up, they can play for the Thunder on the Saturday. So no doubt Adam Reid will be hoping for a clean bill of health for the Dockers on Friday night, so he can get potentially an O'Driscoll or a Sharp or a few of those guys that are around the mark that they slot in on Saturday afternoon. So looking forward to this one. You mentioned Cooper Clark-Derring. He played his first game of the season just before the state game bye, 5 goals. Had to fill the shoes of Trey Rusco, which is no easy feat. A runner-up in the Bernie Naylor medal last year. So be interesting to see when he comes back as well. Yeah, because he hurt his hamstring a couple of weeks ago. So but they've obviously found a handy replacement in Clark-Derring as well. So it's going to make for an interesting selection meeting when Rusco is available, because Clark-Derring's doing everything he can to cement his spot in the seniors.
It certainly will be interesting to see where he does go, Rusco, when he does return. But they've got a new leading forward, Cooper Clark-Derring. He slots into that forward line so comfortably. Midfield battle will be a key, but with that in mind, who does get the points? Yeah,
I think South Fremantle will just get it done. I know they haven't probably been at their dominant best that we saw last year, but I think their depth across the board and just that little bit more experience as well. There's a lot of first year and second year Dockers players out there usually for the Thunder at the moment. So I think that that experience that South Fremantle have got will get them over the line.
I'm going the Bulldogs, but not with a lot of confidence. I still feel Peel with their AFL listed players and their flexibility in their forward line could be a real key as well. You could slot Tregenza and Sears into that forward 50 and they can contribute with a bag of goals. So that's going to be very telling. But I've gone the Bulldogs based on their experience, like what you have stated as well. Let's go now to the third game of the weekend on Saturday, 2:10 live on 7+. It's Perth and West Perth. West Perth yet to get off the mark in 2026. Perth, after a couple of bad losses, drop out of the 5 after starting so well before the state game break. So it's a must-win in their own right for both sides.
I've done a bit of a Paul Persic and gone an outlandish call for this one. I've tipped West Perth. So
You've what?
I have, yeah. I reckon they'll get the job done. I feel like a lot of their better players played with a lot of confidence over the weekend. Kane Bevan, Joey Hinder kicked 3 goals. Zach Gordon was outstanding down back. So I reckon those sort of players will come back with a lot of confidence and maybe a lot of belief after getting their first win of the year, and cause an upset. So
well, that will rub off on the rest of the team, but it's all about getting it done consistently because they're now going back to their club, and West Perth obviously haven't been doing too well. They've yet to get off the mark, and they're going to be facing a Perth side that's going to be a little more desperate, I feel, over the last 2 weeks they've had before the state game break, including that bad loss to Claremont in round 6, which saw their percentage take a real battering and having them drop out of the 5. Mark Stone, I reckon, he wants to see a better Perth side. He wants them to arrive as a football side, and they've got the cattle to do so. A couple of other questions surrounding their team. Will Blake Schlensog come back? How's Brendan Parfitt going at the moment? Lockie Payton, Aaron Clark, especially Aaron Clark after the state game. How is he going to pull up after that, and how will he back up his performance against West Perth on what is going to be a good Saturday over there at Mineral Resources Park? So there's got to be a lot more belief and desperation from this Perth side as we've seen them in the 2 games before the state game break. And against the West Perth side, who obviously are going to be fresh after the state game bye, they're wanting to be desperate for a win as well. I just can't see West Perth pulling an upset at this stage. I mean, they just haven't got enough consistency in their forward line as well. I've said before and I'll say it again, the forward line is way too predictable at the moment. They need to find a new weapon inside 50, and I don't think they will, especially with Scoble and Dean leading the charge in the defensive 50.
He's saying that a little bit too reliable on Keitel.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they've got a few new faces as well, West Perth, which is probably, they've probably taken that little bit longer to gel this year. They recruited quite a bit from other waffle clubs and a few guys from over east and everything like that, and it probably has taken them that little bit longer to gel. They've been dealing with a few injuries as well. Obviously, Meadows missed a large chunk.
Nelson
Aaron
got dropped
Black,
as well.
Yeah, Nelson spent a bit of time in the 2s. Aaron Black missed some games with that rib injury as well. That's right. They probably haven't had that continuity, but hopefully, a week off does them the world of good, and they're fit and firing and ready to go. Even just a more competitive performance will be a positive for them.
Well, you've gone with West Perth. You've done what I usually do and make an outlandish call, but I thought your call there now takes the cake. I'm sticking with Perth. Obviously, they're a lot better than what they were in their last 2 games, but it should be a great clash on Saturday at Mineral Resources Park. Now we go to Steel Blue Oval. This is another great clash. Swan Districts and Subiaco live on 7+ from 2:30 on Saturday. I reckon the winner of this game, whoever gets the points in this game, could set themselves up for a big charge toward the middle of the season, because both sides have been on the improve. Swan Districts had a great win over East Fremantle, and they've got a lot of craftsmanship in their forward line, a lot of durability in that engine room. Same can be said for Subiaco, who are a rejuvenated side after a poor season in 2025. They've got Jared Schofield back at the den, really making sure that they arrive, like Perth, as a football side in 2026. So this is a game that'll have plenty riding on it.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way Swan Districts went about it against East Fremantle. That'll be a massive confidence boost for them. They probably had a bit of a stop-start beginning to the year. They've just the 2 wins before the bye, but performance like that can really lift the confidence and belief among the group. So I'm tipping Swan Districts in this one, but probably not with a great deal of confidence, Paul. It's one of those ones that could certainly go either way. Subiaco have improved out of sight this year under Jared Schofield. They're 3-3 at the moment, and a couple of the games they lost were by just 3 points as well. So I think it's going to be a tight battle, but I tip Swan Districts at home. They're always that better side at home. They always get a strong crowd at Steel Blue Oval. They're a very passionate crowd out there, and once they get on a bit of a roll, they're hard to stop on their home turf.
Now, they were on a roller in round 6 against East Fremantle, especially their forward line that is looking a lot more mobile. They've got some great options inside 50. Van Petrick, he was magnificent in the last 2 games. William Reedy in particular, that bloke's a freak when he gets the ball in his hand. Took a Mark of the Year contender in round 6. And they've also got guys that can drift into the forward line after spending some time in midfield, especially Jackson McLaughlin, who has been in some great form in the last 3 weeks. So I reckon he could be the one that could play that role as that extra man up forward against the Subiaco defence that has looked pretty strong so far.
Yeah, I've liked a lot of their new faces. Clint Hinchcliffe's one that's been slotted in nicely across half forward. Obviously a former Big Bash cricketer, so yeah, he's certainly one of the stories of the year in the waffle competition. The way he's been able to come back to footy after so long out of the waffle. I like Petrick you've mentioned, Zach Provost as well. I've seen him step up and kick a couple of bags across the season. Lucas Impey is one that's shown a bit as a ruck forward. So I like what they've done from a recruiting perspective, and it's just starting to gel together at the moment before the state game bye. So looking forward to seeing if Swan Districts can build on that and gain a bit of momentum in the middle stage of the year.
Important game for Subiaco as well, and I've liked some of their new faces as well that complement their experienced veterans so well. Fraser Rickson in the ruck, he's developing into a strong ruckman. He's averaging around 25 to 30 hitouts per game, but he's going to have a real big test against the likes of Blakely and Impey for Swan Districts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's remarkable. He's only 19 years old. He's actually part of the State 18s program as well. That's as right. An overager, so... he's got quite a remarkable story. The State 18 selectors were actually looking at him last year for the national champs, and he broke his leg just before the last selection meeting. So great to see him bounce back from injury and get an opportunity as an overager. And yeah, he hasn't missed a game.
No,
Subiaco. So it's quite remarkable doing what he's doing as a 19-year-old. He's had guys like Scott Jones and Matt Flynn as opponents to
talk about a baptism of fire in the league side.
Yeah, so he's certainly held his own against some bigger, older, stronger bodies, but looking forward to seeing what he can do in the carnival as well.
And also he's going to have great support from the middle as well. I reckon Gyro's going to be that key man as well. Mayo, the Hickmott boys, they're going to have to be on their A game against the Swan District side that's starting to get their groove back, and especially at Steel Blue Oval, where it's often very hard to play a good four-quarter game against the Swan District side who have got the cam bar and the crowd right behind them. So it's going to be a game of intrigue, there's no doubt about that. You've gone with the Swans. I've gone the same way as well, but not by much. It's going to be a close game over there at Steel Blue Oval. And then finally, we go over to Revo Fitness Stadium. You're on the call alongside Tim Lees on 7+. A special occasion for the Claremont Football Club. It's their centenary game, but East Perth will be desperate to spoil the party.
On their centenary game, take a look at these jerseys.
Oh,
they've got the collars back.
Love them.
It is, absolutely elite. So,
it's better than the Eagles Ochre Guernsey, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Oh, just. But no, check out Claremont socials if you want to see these jerseys. They are outstanding. They're auctioning them off as well. So, get your hands on maybe a Zach Wayne wearing or a Jasper Peace Guernsey for potentially the last time we'll see him in Claremont colours for a while. So, looking forward to this one. Obviously, Claremont are the form team of the competition. East Perth have been, probably a little bit out of sorts. They've dealt with a few injuries here and there. Obviously, Brayshaw missed the start of the season. He's just come back in the last couple of weeks and performed quite well. Cooper Stevens started the season, then he got suspended, then he got injured. So he's one. Do we see him come back? I think he's pretty close. So
if he does come back, that's going to be a huge boost for East Perth, especially in that forward line.
Boost for their midfield, which is probably one of the best in the comp when they are firing. We saw Amaduri play really well in the state game. He was another that polled Simpson medal votes. They've got Scott Jones v Eastland as well in the ruck. This is the two best rucks in the comp.
This is going to be a great battle, so, no doubt.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. Will Eastland have a bit of a point to prove after missing out in the state team as well? So looking forward to seeing how those two midfields sort of pan out this weekend.
I reckon one big battle is going to be in that attacking 50 for the Tigers, because Claremont have got, as I said before, the best forward line in the competition, and East Perth's back line have a real big task in trying to shut out Claremont's options out of the game. The likes of DeLacy, Van Rooyen, Rogers can scoot up forward and kick a bag or two, and Alec Waterman is another one of the premier small forwards in the competition. So the back six for East Perth really have to be on their A game and get themselves into a good structure to try and take out Claremont and their forward options right out of the game. And they're going to have to do that from go to woe, because when Claremont go on a run, they are hard to stop.
I like East Perth's defence though. Like Corey Watts you'll say he might get the job on Hunter. They've got Jake Suter as well, who actually played in the talent game on Saturday. I was really impressed with his work down back as well. So they're pretty well structured down back, East Perth, and that's going to obviously be one of the keys to who wins as well.
Both sides have got great running game as well. You talk about the midfield earlier. England, Rogers can create great run and carry and penetration into attack as well. East Perth like to work it through the corridor as well, with Brayshaw leading the charge. And Majuri, as we mentioned earlier, Angus Scott can also be a valuable possession getter and deliver into that forward 50. And Scotty Jones can set that up with his great follow-up work in the ruck. And he's obviously going to have to face a big battle against Ollie Eastland. So that midfield battle is going to be real critical as far as who wins the game.
Yeah, absolutely. They've both got their weapons inside the midfield. You look at England and Rogers. They're averaging about 30 and a goal a game, I think, at the moment.
They're on fire.
You could nearly lock them in for that week in, week out at the moment. It's great to see Bailey Rogers especially be back to his best. He's had his injury troubles over the last couple of years with his Achilles, so
Showing no signs of that. He's been in terrific form.
Absolutely not. He's the Benjamin Button of the waffle at the moment. He's really winding back the clock and producing some great performances as well. It's amazing what that co-captaincy can do as well, especially with himself in England sharing the captaincy role this year. I feel like it's almost lifted their game to another level this year. They've put a lot of responsibility on their shoulders, and they're performing brilliantly at the moment.
With that in mind, game of the round contender, no doubt about that. Who does get the points?
Oh, it's hard to tip against Claremont at the moment. They've been the form team of the competition and the only team to knock off South Fremantle, the reigning champs at the moment as well. So, yeah, I'm going to say Claremont, probably about 4 or 5 goals.
I'll go Claremont as well, but a little closer than that, especially after the last 2 games that they had both at Revo Fitness Stadium. If you remember, Claremont won by 9 points in the last round, but East Perth knocked them off by 2 goals in the qualifying final. So plenty of ramifications riding on this one, especially in the early stages of the season. It's going to be a huge weekend of waffle football. Make sure you get down and support your teams. If you're not able to make it to the ground, the next best thing is live, free and in full coverage on 7+. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to have Waffle W coming up next, and joining us as our special guest is Jason Burton from the Swan Districts Football Club. They're going along all guns blazing, undefeated, and they take on reigning premiers Claremont this weekend. We'll be back with Jason Burton and all the Waffle W action right after this.
Take it from me, great things happen at the Waffle.
Valentine rides and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick to kick at every break. The Waffle is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the Waffle on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate. On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
And you're back with us here on Around the Waffle, our preview show as Waffle and Waffle W resume normal programming after the state game break this weekend. Paul Persic is with you alongside Jordan McCardle from WA Football as we get to the Waffle W action, round 8 of the ATCO Waffle W Premiership season, and it's led by the grand final rematch this weekend. It is Claremont and Swan Districts, and the side that is the one that everybody's chasing is the Black Ducks. They're going along all guns blazing, unbeaten before the state game break, and they're looking to keep that run intact against the reigning premiers. And joining us down the line is their coach, Jason Burton. He joins us here on Around the Waffle. G'day, Jason.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
Great to have you on the show. We spoke earlier this year on the first episode of On Location, which will be back next week, about the side being more mentally prepared after the grand final loss last season, and you've certainly driven that home in the first few weeks of the season with not a single blemish on the record so far. You must feel really proud of what the side has been able to achieve at this stage in the season.
Yeah, look, you obviously want to win every game you can, although realistically I'm not sure you can sustain it. But the girls, to their credit, it probably has been that mental switch that they've flicked to another level this year, where their maturity and their belief in what it is that they do has been really evident. And I know the results are 6-0, but hasn't mean we haven't had every game on our terms for the entire game. So there's been challenges within those, but most pleasingly is they've been able to respond and still get the results.
Jason, where have the improvements come from last year? Is it that more maturity and I guess experiencing that finals type footy as well?
Yeah, I think we were always optimistic about our team is still very young. I think our oldest player is only 28 years of age. Last year, I think we were the second youngest in the comp, and this year we might be around that mark as well. So we always believe that we're going to get better with experience, and that's definitely been evident. And being able to also add a couple of experienced players in Jess Cox, Chloe Riley, Ashley Sharp, it just calms the group, I suppose, and it allows everyone just to feel more confident that when it's their turn, they've got the whole team backing them.
On improvements, one player that's improved personally out of sight is Jamie Henry. She seems like one of the most determined kids I've ever met. She shaved off, I think it was 2 minutes off her 2K time trial. She's averaging a competition high, I think 34 disposals. She racked up 34 in the state game as well. Just a word on Jamie, Jason, how her determination to get to that next level and just be a star of the WAFL W competition as well.
Yeah, to us it's no surprise. Jamie's commitment, I don't think I've ever seen anyone across any grade of footy, men, women, whatever it is, who just wants to get the best out of herself. And that means making some sacrifices along the way, her fitness and physically, she puts an enormous work in there, and that in turn, drags the rest of our group along with her and goes, well, that's the standard we're setting here. So, and you use the word kid. She's still a kid. She's still only 20 years of age. She doesn't turn 21 until later in the year. So for her to have that determination is really admirable. And then it's turning into as well performance. Her footy ability, I think she's arguably the best player in the comp that we have here. And that gives us enormous confidence. We got to look after her in that sense because she can't do it all on her own, so she needs the others around her. But yeah, I've got nothing but positivity for Jamie Henry and what she does and how she does it.
How proud were you of not only Jamie's performance in the state game over the weekend, but Lauren Quaife in the ruck as well? Both of the Swans girls performed really, really well in what was a breakthrough win by the WAFL W side.
Yeah, and both players have been going really well and showing that they're, some of the premier players in the competition. So, Lauren shouldered most of the ruck on her own, which was huge, and she's another competitor who just loves getting out there and giving her best for the team, and she knows what her role is and does it really well. And then again, Jamie, just back to her, she showed that, she belongs in that top echelon of players. It's certainly in this competition, and then obviously the AFL is still a goal, and we still want her to get there. We don't want her playing with us. So for her to be able to perform in a big game like that is pleasing, and for now we'll take her back this week and hopefully it continues her form.
Grand final rematch is next up at Steel Blue Oval. Claremont, of course, have been getting better all the time after their round one shellacking that you dished out to them over at Redrow Fitness Stadium in round one. What has been the most impressive thing that you've seen about Claremont this season and their improvement since that round one defeat, and what will also be a key for your side to try and stop them in their tracks a second time?
Yeah, well, I think we might have jumped them a little bit early, so that they might be a bit fired up for this week to get some retribution back on us, which is understandable. So we'll prepare for that. But as a team, and it's not just this year, it's been over time where they own the ball and they're able to run it and link up with handballs, and it's the maturity that their players have as well, which allows them to be clean. So we've got to try and pressure that and stop that handball link up. And then try and get them back going the other way. So, yeah, look, they've set the benchmark. We still believe that they're one of the best in the comp, and the ladder shows that. So, we're looking forward to another chance to test ourselves as well against really quality opposition.
how much focus goes into someone like a Jamie Harkin, obviously coming off a best on ground performance in the state game. She's such a leader of that Claremont midfield as well. Do you put a bit more focus into her, or do you just focus on that midfield group as a collective?
Yeah, it's definitely a collective thing. And Jamie's a terrific player and will win plenty of the ball. But when she gets it, she's going to give it to others that are around her as well. So we've got to be really aware the midfield is going to be super important. And Juliet Kelly's finding more form as well, more of the ball. Matilda Sargent, even the underrated players, I think, like a Sarah Viney, they can be damaging against us. So we've got to be really aware of that midfield battle. But we also back our girls. Stats-wise, it's pretty evenly matched, so it's a matter of who can execute it better on Sunday.
Now, we do have a question from a loyal WAFL supporter in Chris Reid. He's one of the most active WAFL supporters on Twitter. I didn't think we'd be asking about the Hammond Park Hurricanes this morning, Jace, but can you tell us a little bit about your role in the formation of that club? They've obviously become such a development club for South Fremantle in recent years. Can you tell us about how you got involved and I guess those early years at Hammond Park Hurricanes Junior Footy Club?
Yeah, they were good fun times. So the interesting part is I coach women's footy, obviously, but I've got 3 sons who I coached at Auskick and everything, and I was living out down that way, and the other local club, Jandakot, was quite big, and we thought there was time or an opportunity to have another club in the area. So I think the first year we started with about 14 kids playing Auskick, and they named it the Hurricanes, and we gave them options and the colours and all that, and it has grown. So it's really cool to see how big it is now. My kids are no longer there, but that's all right. I do keep an eye on the South Fremantle players where it's zoned to, and who comes through there from the Hurricanes. It's close to my heart, yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's great to see your passion in football in all levels. Jason, we really appreciate your time here on Around the Waffle. All the best on Sunday for that big grand final rematch.
Thank you.
That was Jason Burton, the coach of the Swan Districts Football Club, and great involvement over there at the Hammond Park Hurricanes, as you alluded to a little earlier, Jordan. That's a tremendous story about his involvement there as well. And, it's all followed to success so far at Swan Districts.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think we'd be asking about the Hammond Park Hurricanes Footy Club, but thanks to Chris Reid for sending that question in. And it's always nice to know about the background of some of these coaches as well, where they've come from, how they got started as well, because obviously Jason's done a fantastic job at Swan Districts. They're the premiership favourites in the WAFL W at the moment, and seem a real threat to Claremont's chances of winning a third in a row.
We'll talk about that game in just a little bit, but we're going to preview the rest of the ATCO WAFL W action. Before we do, here's the ladder as it stands after the state game break. Swan Districts, as you can see, 6 wins out of 6. Claremont and Subiaco and East Fremantle each on 4 wins. That battle for second place will be very intriguing. And in fourth, with South Fremantle half a game behind, and they're ahead of West Perth outside the 4. Then comes Perth, East Perth and Peel Thunder. Speaking of those last 2 sides, they kick off the round on Saturday down at Lane Group Stadium, and that is at 11:05 in the morning, live on the WAFL YouTube channel. That's where all of the WAFL W games are shown live. This is a game where both sides, they want to play on confidence here, because if they can get a win on the board this weekend, it will certainly bring them to good stead heading into the second half of the season.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting battle. It's probably 2 sides that are at that lower end of the ladder, unfortunately. Both got quite sort of younger sides on the park. So, yeah, it's going to be a really intriguing battle, this one. I've tipped Peel Thunder to get the job done on their home turf. I like what their midfield's been doing, especially the likes of Chloe Wrigley. She racks them up for fun, doesn't she? So
there is one problem, though. Peel Thunder's midfield has become very reliant on Chloe Wrigley, and to her credit, she stood up to the task, but she hasn't had a lot of support in that midfield. It's often been, a one-cylinder engine, and what I mean by that is that Peel Thunder's midfield's not firing on all cylinders. They've often relied on Wrigley to get that attack into that forward line, and she hasn't had a lot of support. East Perth, I feel, are a bit more of a dynamic side, and especially when you've got the likes of Greenwood leading that charge as well for East Perth, I feel that they're going to be a more, even side, and I feel they're more even on paper rather than obviously Peel being Wrigley-centric, as I like to call it. And that's not a detriment on the Peel side. They've got a really good side, but they just haven't been able to get someone as a handy support for the midfield presence of Chloe Wrigley. So I feel East Perth, they're a little bit more of a balanced side, and they had that win on the board, keep in mind, in round 1 against Peel Thunder by 2 points coming from behind at Sullivan Logistics Stadium. So I feel that balance is going to fall in East Perth's favour.
On Greenwood, how good was she in the
state
game? 3
goals.
Brilliant. She's a real excitement machine. So great to see her get an opportunity in the state game and perform really well as well. She was a real spark for the WAFL W girls, who obviously won their first ever game against South Australia as well. Do
you think Greenwood's performance in that state game and the confidence that she has is going to rub off onto the rest of the East Perth side?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I said that about the West Perth WAFL side. I think the likes of Bevan and Hinder and co, their confidence for winning a game and getting that sort of belief will rub off on their teammates, as will Greenwood's performance in the state game against with her teammates. They've said their senior coach Jenna Allome's involved in the coaching panel for the WAFL W team as well. So to have both of those involved in such a strong performance in the state game will only be positive for the Royals.
It's going to be a battle of balance and dynamic at both ends of the ground. You've gone with Peel, especially on the form of Chloe Wrigley, and she's been Peel's best. There's no doubt about that. And she's got, some valuable weapons in that forward line. Ebony Bilsich has been brilliant, Collard as well, but she needs more around her in the midfield. And that's why I've gone with East Perth, because they've got some more options in that midfield and they're more of an even side. You've gone with Peel. I've gone with East Perth based on that, but it's going to be one game that's going to be plenty of interest around this one. Now we go to Mineral Resources Park on Saturday night. It's the first of 2 Saturday night games in round 8 of the ATCO WAFL W season. It's live on the WAFL YouTube channel, Perth and West Perth. Now, you've talked about the likes of Perth being a more improved side in season 2026, and they've got some great players. Warren, Shannon, all have been terrific. West Perth, they've got a little bit more to prove. They're still in contention for a spot in the 4, but these games can present themselves as a bit of a danger game down the track.
Yeah, this is another hard one to tip. I feel like most of the games across the WAFL and the WAFL W have been hard to tip this round, which is obviously great for the competition, that it's so even and that, there's no easy wins in either comp at the moment. So I've tipped Perth because of I like the way their midfield are firing, led by Isabella Shannon. She's a fantastic talent. She obviously had that little bit of AFLW interest heading into the pre-season draft a week or two ago, but didn't get picked up, which is obviously a positive for the Demons. They would have been stoked to keep an experienced talent of her standard, obviously a former St Kilda AFLW player. So
we talked about AFLW calibre players, not just Isabella Shannon, but what about Poppy Stockwell? Wasn't she brilliant in the women's state game, kicking a bag? And I reckon her presence in that forward line is going to be very valuable for the Perth side down the track, including this game on Saturday night.
Yeah, she actually got some votes, Poppy Stockwell, in the best on-ground medal. I think it was, she would have come second or third to...
second, I believe.
To Harkin, and then KP, Crystal Petrevsky, was among the votes as well. So, yeah, she was fantastic. Obviously a former Fremantle forward, a former first-class cricketer, a former South Fremantle player. So she's had quite the journey, Poppy Stockwell, but looks like she's found her home inside the Demons forward line.
Certainly has. West Perth, in the meantime, obviously they're in contention for a spot in the 4. They've played some very good football over the last few weeks. Obviously, they had wins against the likes of Subiaco and South Fremantle, but obviously their side against the likes of Claremont and Swan District struggle for the same consistency. And I reckon West Perth, they need to be a consistent side against Perth. And they've got some good players in that forward line too. Zoe Huggett, the former South Fremantle forward, she's found herself at home in that role in the forward line. And the midfield obviously really have to be playing some good pressure football against a Perth side that loves that run and carry, and they've got the cattle to do so.
I'm glad you mentioned Zoe Huggett. She seems to be a regular among the goals for West Perth this year. She was for South Freo in previous years. She slotted into that Falcons forward line really nicely, and will obviously be a danger player. We might even see a shootout between Huggett at one end and Poppy Stockwell at the other.
I feel it might be that way.
We do love an old-fashioned shootout, Paul, so I'd love to see that.
And in ideal conditions as well, I feel this one will be. That could be the battle that might decide the match. Obviously, guilty as charged. The team that kicks the most goals usually wins, but I reckon it's going to be a great shootout between Stockwell and Huggett. You've gone with Perth. You can say I've either tipped with my heart or head, but I'm tipping with my pure head in this one. It is going to be West Perth that'll get the points, but it'll be a close one, I reckon. Both sides will be very desperate to get the 4 points. Another game on Saturday night, this time at the Good Grocer Park. It's Subiaco and East Fremantle. Now, East Fremantle, they'll be high on confidence after that win against Claremont, also at the Good Grocer Park by a single point. But Subiaco, they've got a little more in midfield. They've got a lot of experience behind them, and that is going to be a key for them against an East Fremantle side that is going to be high on confidence, as I said. You've got the likes of Petrevsky, Trefsky, Steen, Shepherd, who were all brilliant in that state team. So they're going to follow up that good performance, maybe with another great one against East Fremantle, but you never know. Against an East Fremantle side that's got a lot of youth behind them, it's going to be a clash. That definitely looking forward to this one.
Yeah, absolutely. East Fremantle have probably been the surprise packets of
yeah.
the season. Yeah, they lost quite a bit of top-end talent, no bigger than Ash Gomes, obviously a premiership captain and multiple premiership player. She moved across to South Fremantle, but they've managed to, they've got that little bit more depth, I feel, this year. Other players sort of stepping up. They recruited quite well as well, I think. Like Mac Webb has been fantastic in defence for the Sharks. Obviously a Claremont premiership player that's come across over the off season. She's probably up there in their best and fairest at the moment. Maybe Noah McNaughton, but she's obviously not going to be playing.
That's what they're going to miss a lot.
Getting picked up in the pre-season draft, so fantastic to see her get an opportunity with Fremantle this season in the AFLW. So yeah, looking forward to this one. I've tipped Subiaco, but once again with no great confidence. Subiaco have probably the best midfield in the competition. It's that real three-headed monster, isn't it?
It is.
Trefsky, Steen and Shepherd, they are three real stars of the competition. Obviously, KP won the Darragh medal last year.
Which was no real surprise.
No real surprise, absolutely not. So, and then Paige Shepherd's probably up there this year. You'd say she'd be up there with Jamie Henry in the conversation.
You make a good point as well about this game. East Fremantle are going to miss Noah McNaughton, who obviously got picked up by the Dockers, and I reckon they're going to find it difficult to find that new number one key midfielder, and they've got a lot of youth behind them, and the experience for Subiaco could go a long way for them winning this game. So I'm going to go the same route as you and go Subiaco.
The crazy thing was they beat Claremont without Noah McNaughton. So
they did.
Yeah, it's remarkable stuff, and just shows that those, those fringe players in previous years that... they're really starting to step up and grow their own games personally. Great game it's going to be on Saturday night, and so will this one on Sunday at 12:10 live on the WAFL YouTube channel. Swan Districts and Claremont, the grand final rematch. Hopefully a potential grand final preview if these sides play a close one like they did last August. Of course, last time these two sides met, it was anything but 7-9 to 1-4-10 in favour of Swan Districts. Good heavens, at Revo Fitness Stadium. This is going to be a game where Claremont either can really stamp their authority as, hey, we're still number one, you've got to beat us if you want to be number one, or Swan Districts say there might be a changing of the guard down the track, not knocking off Claremont or anything like that, but Swans, they're just a step above at the moment this year. They really are, but Jack Schwartz, he's the obviously the state-winning coach from the weekend, the two-time reigning premiership coach as well. He is a hard taskmaster. I remember chatting with him after the game on Saturday, and he was actually disappointed that they conceded the one goal that they did against South Australia. He's always wanting more, isn't he? He's got that desire as coach. He really does. I think he would have had this game penciled in for probably ever since they lost that round one game. He wouldn't have been happy with how they performed in that opening round, and I think they will come out with a point to prove. We heard Jason Burton, the Swan Districts coach, mention that about their own hot start in round one. I think Claremont will be trying to do something pretty similar this time around and get a jump on Swan Districts. First 10 minutes are going to be essential. Who's going to jump off and get the better start? We saw Swan Districts do that in round one. Will Claremont get off to the hot start in this one? Because the midfield battle is going to be huge in this game. You've got the two rucks, Quaife and Matilda Husband, and the key midfielders, Harkin versus Henry. We love a matchup between these two, the best players in the WAFL W competition. This one is going to be like a bullfight. Oh, absolutely. Henry v. Harkin, I cannot wait for that one. It was great to see them actually be in the same midfield for once in the state game. I guess that's one of the beauties of the state game, isn't it? Getting to see, the best of the WAFL and the best of the WAFL W competitions, play alongside each other. So, yeah, excited to see what Jamie Henry can do against Jamie Harkin, two of the best players in the comp. Probably the best player of this sort of modern day era against the best player of the season so far. So, can't wait for that one. Ortlip in the forward line is also going to be key. Both the Ortlips, in fact, Claire and Rachel. I saw Claire Ortlip in the Sullivan Logistics truck cheering on her teammates in that state game. And you'd feel that, she was determined to really prove that she should be in that, should have been in that team as well. I reckon she could have been an extra small forward option, and I reckon she'll have a point to prove on Sunday. And a great WA Footy employee as well. Oh, yeah. She's in the women and girls space, so shout out to her. She's a fantastic player. Doing a wonderful job. Fantastic human as well. So, no doubt she'll have a point to prove against the Swans this weekend. Who does win? It's a tight game to pick this one. I've gone with Swan Districts, but once again, No great confidence in this one, given the history of Claremont and how well they've performed in the past few years. They probably haven't been at their brilliant best this year, but we know what they can do when they are at their best. Obviously, Harkin's fit and firing at the moment, coming off a mammoth game in the state game, but yeah, it's hard to go past Swan Districts. They've been the best team in the competition. They're unbeaten at the moment, and they knocked off Claremont, obviously, in round one. So I'm going to say Swan Districts for this one.
I'm only going the Swans because it's at home, and they've been very hard to beat at home. I believe they haven't lost once at home this year, so they're unbeaten at home, and I feel they're going to be hard to beat again at Steel Blue Oval on the Sunday. But that's the only reason I've gone with them. Won't be surprised if Claremont get the points in this one and prove to themselves that they can solidify their status again as the number one team in the competition. They're the dual reigning premiers for a reason, but I've gone with Swans only because it's at home. It's a big round of ATCO WAFL W action. You can see all the games live, free and in full on YouTube. We'll take one final break, and when we do come back, a quick wrap up and the season ahead in WAFL football, which carries plenty of intrigue.
Take it from me, great things happen at the Waffle.
Valentine rides and goals.
With free entry for kids, future stars on the ground, and a kick to kick at every break. The Waffle is where footy memories start and legends are made. Follow the Waffle on socials or get to a game.
Hey Siri, how to connect Bluetooth to Mac truck?
Sullivan 2, what's your position?
Just a midfielder, mate. On your left. Oh, come on, get out of the way.
Car Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years, selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems, stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
And you're back with us here on Around the Waffle. Paul Persic and Jordan McCardle with me as we wrap things up on our preview show. We look forward to a massive weekend in football. The season refresher we had a little earlier, of course, are the Waffle and the WAFL W as well. The season ahead looks pretty good because we've started off with some great crowds so far, some great matches, close competitions, and the prognosis for WA football for the rest of the season looks rather good, especially with the competition being so tight in both the Waffle and the WAFL W, and the backing especially that the WAFL W has got through ATCO. Really good signs for WA football in 2026.
Absolutely, and the broadcast numbers have been great as well. The coverage on Channel 7, I think it's gone up 91%
wow.
on the Channel 7 main channel. So that's a fantastic start, and great to see more eyeballs on the Waffle competition than we saw last year. The ATCO WAFL W, obviously, it's on our YouTube channel these days, as is the EGT WAFL Colts, and the numbers of those have grown dramatically as well. So it's great to see all levels of the Waffle getting really well supported, not only through the gates, but engagement on socials, coverage on TV, print, online, radio. It's been fantastic, man. It's been a really close competition as well. We've seen so many 1-point results, so many single-digit results along both comps this year.
And the Colts as well, we mustn't forget. It's a very close competition there too, and we see Peel Thunder rising up to be contenders in the 5 after not winning a game for 2 years.
Oh, that was cool. I got to got to commentate their last 2 wins, actually, Peel Thunder. So it was great to see them break, I think it was 769 days or something.
Correct,
crazy.
yeah.
It was a massive drought broken for them. And then they back it up and do it again the next week against East Perth. So it was fantastic couple of weeks for them. And, it just shows the evenness of the competition, that no game, should be treated as an easy game. All competitions have thrown up some surprises already this year, and no doubt there's going to be plenty more to come through the middle part and the back part of the year.
Certainly looking forward to the rest of the season. Fans, let us know what you think of the season so far. Let us know in the comments below and what you're looking forward to for the remainder of 2026. Jordan, thank you so much for coming in today. It's been great discussing all things WAFL. Good luck in the Claremont versus East Perth game, the Claremont Centenary game. It's going to be a ripper. And really looking forward to another great instalment of WAFL Weekly, which you host with the great Mark Reddings. Always a great wrap-up of the weekend's action. And we'll see you back here very soon, hopefully.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate you having me on. And, thanks for your support of the WAFL competitions. You're one of the most passionate people about the competition around the traps. So it was great to see you in full flight last week at the state game and during the week interviewing Reedy and a few of the state players as well. So appreciate your support of the WAFL and hope to be back on sometime soon.
I'm not going to lie, I did carry on a bit like a pork chop on Saturday in the state game.
I did see a photo of you at the trophy actually. It was and it was hard not to get carried away after such a great day for state footy. We saw obviously a really close talent game, just 6 points in that. We saw the WAFL W girls with that breakthrough win over SA, and obviously the WAFL men as well with their first win at home against South Australia in 11 years. So I'm not surprised you were getting carried away, mate.
Amazing stuff. Shout out to John Casey, my South Australian counterpart, who was on the receiving end of both losses and has been cursed as a result. My apologies, John Casey. We hope you have a wonderful weekend of WAFL and WAFL W football. We'll be back on Monday to recap all the great action, and my regular right-hand man will be back as well. Ethan Roth will return. He's been celebrating all this week of state game wins. No surprise about that. We look forward to your company on Monday to recap all the action. We'll see you then.